Well, hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Ashmit Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Sensex and Nifty end with marginal gains after a late recovery. Bank stocks declined, but mid-caps outperform. Market regulator SEBI is weighing a proposal from NSE to extend trading hours for derivatives. Not all IPOs that list at a discount have destroyed investor wealth, shows a CNBC-TV18 analysis. 8 stocks have managed to rebound and even doubling in value in the last 3 years. This includes Angel One, Macrotech, Craftsman Automation, Kalyan Jewelers, among others. Crisis hit Byju's to cut over 3,500 jobs as it attempts to get out of financial trouble. Sources say the cuts will impact senior and middle management, also likely to report much-awaited earnings since FY22 in October. TRAI Chairman PD Vaghela is worried about the erosion of Vodafone-Idea's subscriber base and its inability to roll out 5G services. Says huge investments are needed and hopes demand for digital services will attract investors. That's an exclusive. India and Canada take veiled digs at each other at the United Nations. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says political convenience should not determine the response to terrorism. Canada's envoy raises concerns over foreign interference and says international rules cannot be bent for political expediency. U.S. Federal Trade Commission and 17 state attorney generals sue Amazon, allege that the tech giant uses anti-competitive strategies, inflates prices, and overcharges sellers. Amazon says FTC has radically departed from its mission of protecting consumers and customers. Thousands of students protest on the streets of Manipur. This after pictures showing the alleged abduction and killing of 2 students went viral on social media. Mobile internet services snapped once again. Schools to remain shut this week as the state struggles to control ethnic violence, which erupted 5 months ago. Indian shooter Siftkaur Samra smashes the world record in the 50-meter rifle 3 positions individual event. Indian shooters also win gold in the 25-meter pistol team event. With this, India has now bagged 5 gold medals so far. Well, the market staged a smart recovery from lows to end in the green today. Nifty and Sensex ended the day 0.25% higher. Nifty Bank underperformed the blue chips, but mid-caps continued their outperformance. The mid-cap index ended close to 1% higher. Reliance was the top Nifty contributor, lifting the index by 20 points, while IT stocks also led from the front. Meanwhile, market veteran Mark Mobius is betting big on the India story. In a conversation with CNBC-TV18, he said that it did not make any sense for them to reduce their India holding, as the India picture was very positive.
We see so many opportunities in India. Now, of course, there's going to be corrections along the way. We, of course, pay attention to that and have cash on hand to take advantage of these corrections. But we'd like to see maybe a 15, 20% correction before we dive back in. But nevertheless, we're holding on to what we have and adding on the margins, because we believe that the opportunities in India are terrific. And the whole picture for India is so positive that it doesn't make sense to reduce our holdings in India.
Well, staying with the markets, the National Stock Exchange is considering extending of trading hours for equity and derivatives in a phased manner. It is also planning to eventually extend trading hours for the cash markets as well. Anuj Singhal is joining us now with more details. Anuj, give us a sense. What is the buzz in the market?
Well, the hot topic of discussion has been extending trading hours. Now, that's something which has divided the trader community, the traders and investor community. Look, what does the NSE want? The NSE wants to increase trading hours in phases. The first phase is to introduce an evening session for index futures and options between 6 to 9 p.m. and then take it further up to all the way up to 11:30 p.m., almost midnight, for which it has approval in place. After that, the extension has to take place in cash market, where they want to increase the timing from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Now, as I said, there's in principle not to do that, and exchanges have had that for a really long time, and they wanted to increase trading hours for a really long time. Now, what are the pros and cons? The arguments in favor essentially are that we need to align ourselves with global markets. There are a lot of times when the markets are reacting to news in the evening. For example, the US inflation data, the Fed announcements, the US market opening. So many data points come in the evening and we only react early in the morning. That really is the biggest argument in favor of extending the trading hours. Now, the arguments against extending trading hours. It's impossible to align completely, right? I mean, then where do you stop? The Japanese market, for example, opens early in the morning, say at 5:30. Then do you start early morning session as well? Some markets are open on Sundays, for example. Then where do you stop? The other element here is the cost angle, especially for the brokerages, the smaller brokerages. The bigger brokerages can manage, but the smaller brokerages, their cost will double because they'll have to do double shift. So that's another reason against it. The work-life balance for traders and investors, that gets distorted. And a lot of traders and investors who do a lot of homework before the markets open and after markets close. So where will all that time come from? So there are arguments for and against that, of course. How things stand here right now, there was a Reuters report that the SEBI is studying it, yet to give a formal approval. They want the system to be ready. The sense I got was that it may not happen up until at least March of 2024.
Well, 34 companies listed on the Lal Street at a discount between 2020 and 2022. A CNBC-TV18 analysis shows that not all of them destroyed investor wealth. Some delivered substantial returns over time. Hormaz Fatakia is joining us now. Hormaz, from a slow start to a steady run for some stocks, give us a sense.
Absolutely. It's some very interesting data coming in when we take a look at the IPOs during this 3-year period between 2020 and 2022. Now, in this analysis, we are not considering IPOs that have listed this year for two reasons. One is that most of these issues have listed and are trading at a substantial premium to their IPO price. And two is that the window to analyze shareholder returns is very short because some of the IPOs have listed as early as today. So let's take a look at the IPOs between 2020 and 2022. We had 120 main board IPOs that came out during this 3-year window, of which 86 of them listed at a premium, while 34 of them listed at a discount. And it is these 34 stocks that we'll be focusing on. Now, out of these 34 names, there are 8 of them that listed at a discount, but over a period of time, they have given returns of at least 100% and more. And 5 of them have given returns between 50 to 90%. Now, let's take a look at this 100% plus list, and you would see the likes of Angel One, Macrotech, Craftsman Automation, IRFC, all of them listed at a substantial discount to their issue price, but then look at the returns that they have given. And the other list includes Equitas Small Finance Bank, Kalyan Jewelers, Metro Brands, Ethos. All of them listed at a discount but have generated substantial returns over a period of time. Now, I'd like to single out Angel One here, and it listed 3 years ago. And incidentally, it was 25th of September when it closed its IPO as Angel Broking. And it listed at an 11% discount to its issue price, which was around 306 rupees. Since then, the stock is up 6 times and is now currently trading close to 2,000 rupees. So now these were the IPOs that have surprised investors in a good way. Now, on the flip side, there are also some that have given a rude jolt to the investors, and we analyzed that 9 such IPOs that listed at a substantial premium to their issue price are now trading below their IPO price. Now, let's take a look at that list, and you'd see the likes of Chemcon Specialty Chemicals, Nureka, Heranba Industries, Nazara Tech, which almost doubled on its listing day. Chemcon also doubled, but now all of them are trading below their IPO price. And then comes the new age companies like Nika, PB Fintech, and all of these companies also traded at a strong premium to their issue price, but now are trading well below their IPO price. Now, these are the IPOs that we have analyzed over the last 3 years. Some surprises and some duds as well. But the moral of the story, don't get too swayed by the listing day pop. Always look for enduring value.
Right, Hormaz, thanks a lot for that. Let's move ahead now. The Securities Appellate Tribunal reserved its order on former Zee CEO Puneet Goenka's appeal against the SEBI order that barred him from holding key managerial positions. The tribunal observed that it is not satisfied with the amount of time taken by the market regulator for this investigation. SEBI said it will complete the investigation by the 30th of November. Kerala High Court has quashed the FIR against Manipur Finance MD and CEO VP Nandakumar in a money laundering case. The court has asked the Enforcement Directorate to return all the original documents of the frozen assets within 3 weeks' time after receiving the court's judgment. Vedanta shares slumped in today's trade, dipping to a nearly 3-year low. This after Moody's downgraded the parent company's rating due to elevated risks of debt restructuring over the next few months. And beleaguered edtech major Byju has kick-started a massive restructuring drive under its new CEO, Arjun Mohan. Sources tell us that the startup is likely to cut 3,500 jobs. This comes at a time when the startup is battling its lenders and has faced a markdown in its valuations. Aishwarya Anand is joining us now with more details. Aishwarya, give us a sense. What are you picking up?
Byju, which is currently in the midst of an ongoing tussle with its lenders over a $1 billion loan repayment, is now looking to get out of trouble and has begun the process of its biggest restructuring exercise under the leadership of New India CEO Arjun Mohan. CNBC-TV18 has also learned that the edtech giant Byju is likely to file its earnings for FY22 and FY23 by this weekend or next week. According to sources, the company will cut 3,500 jobs in a fresh round of layoffs. The job cuts will impact staffers at manager, mid-manager and vertical leader levels. In a statement to CNBC-TV18, a Byju spokesperson said, and I quote, "We are in the final stages of a business restructuring exercise to simplify operating structures, reduce the cost base and better cash flow management." Byju's New India CEO Arjun Mohan will be completing this process in the next few weeks and will steer a revamped and sustainable operation ahead, end quote. Sources also say that the company felt there were a lot of redundancies in the system and is looking to consolidate and tighten teams in online as well offline functions. The move, however, will only affect Byju's India team and there will be no impact on Akash, Epic, Great Learning and other subsidiaries of Byju's as they operate as separate entities. Since late 2022, the edtech giant has let go of more than 2,500 employees. The most recent job cuts came in June this year when it laid off 500 to 1,000 employees. The company's headcount has come down from 50,000 in December 2022 to 37,000 at present. Back to you.
Thanks, Aishwarya, for that. Time now for a short break, but coming up, TRAI Chairman P.D. Vaghela's exit interview. He says there is a need to ensure that the growth of the OTT segment is not stifled, but telecom companies' concerns must be addressed as well. That and much more on the other side. Welcome back. Here's the big newsmaker this evening. With only a few days to go for his tenure to end, the chairman of the TRAI has decided to speak out. P.D. Vaghela sat down with me for what was his first and last interview as India's telecom regulator. Vaghela is worried about the loss of Vodafone-Idea subscriber base and its inability to roll out 5G services. He also spoke about the tussle between telecom service providers and OTT players, among other issues. Take a look.
TRAI in 2018 has recommended that there is no need to regulate OTT. At that time, TRAI's main concern, at that OTT was growing and TRAI's main concern is always, consumer interest. Consumers are getting something, free and cheaper, that, TRAI should, promote that. But in the last, 5 years, a lot of things have changed. And all over the world, most of the telecom operators, they are now claiming that. And that, their networks are congested because of the, rise of the OTT. And and they should be compensated for for carrying the OTT content. So in that connection, government also had sent a reference back to us and asked us to do the consultation again. And we have issued a consultation, and it's a very, very contentious and very, very I would say controversial subject. The consultation is still going on. They had asked for more time, and we are yet to do the OSD. After OSD, TRAI will take an appropriate stand and give recommendation to the government on this issue. But it is a very, very fascinating subject, I should tell. And we have to be very careful both ways. That, the OTT should not be stifled, its growth should not stifle. At the same time, how do we handle the concerns which are raised by the telecom operators? So, how to do a lot of balancing, I think. Thank you.
I think it's a very interesting answer that you give us in terms of setting the framework. A very controversial decision, like you said. But moving from one controversy to the other, I just want to get a sense of one of the aspects that defined the beginning part of your tenure was the AGR issue, the way it panned out. There was a lot of engagement that the TRAI had also done on the subject. I just want to get a sense that when history looks back at this AGR issue, do you think this is a battle in your sense as a telecom titan? This is a battle that the centre could have done without in interest of the health of the industry?
See, whether we like it or not, license fee is there. And with license fee is there, concept of AGR will be there. And now, the settled question, the court of law, Honorable Supreme Court has given a judgment. And, there has been accepted by the government. In that circumstances, we have to see how can, further we can work on that. So I think the issue is settled. There may be some issues or no, what should be the, part of the AGR and which should not be the part of the AGR. Recently, DOT has done immensely, a very good job by, giving further clarification. So, now the issue with the license fee, whether that is very high or it is very, what should be done about that. So, that an issue, I think, TRAI had recommended that license fee should be reduced, but government in its wisdom has not accepted that fact. That license fee is here at present to stay. So, an AGR definition has been, I think, has been now, I think, aged. A lot of things have been removed. Most important, the reforms. It has, for example, reduced the interest rate. Right? That is one thing. Secondly, penalty has been removed. Right? Bank guarantee had been reduced to a lot, to a great extent. Only 20%. Recently, we have again further, recommended there should be a single bank guarantee, performance and financial bank guarantee. And so that way, what I understand that, the kind of reforms the government has taken and the kind of, actions has been taken with regard to ease of doing business has helped the sector. So there are some issues still. For example, Vodafone, for example, it has not been able to implement 5G. And for example, BSNL again has now started implementing 4G with the indigenous technology. That is great thing. But they will be now, I think, implementing 5G also. So that concern remains that BSNL and Vodafone, they have not implemented 5G. In what way the competition will span out, and how will the subscribers behavior will change the subscriber base among the various stakeholders. Especially, we are worried that BSNL and Vodafone both are losing their subscriber base. So we will be very happy if Vodafone can implement the 5G at the earliest.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news and updates will continue on the other side.